Hello students, hope you are all well. Okay, today we are going to revise the chapter polynomials. Okay, first of all, we are going to see what a polynomial in one variable is. Okay, a polynomial in one variable is a polynomial in which you have only one variable. Okay, based on the number of variables, you can classify it as two variable polynomial or three variable polynomial or four variable polynomials. But if the polynomial is having only one variable, then it will be called a one variable polynomial. In our course in ninth class, we have only one variable polynomial. Okay. Standard form for one variable polynomial can be as standard form for one variable polynomial can be written as a1 x to the power n plus a2 x to the power n minus 1 plus a3 x to the sorry x to the power n minus 2 plus so on, and at the last you have constant. So what does it signify is a1, a2, a3 and so on are all constants, are all coefficients of x. Okay, x to the power n is the highest power of x. After that you have a smaller power of x. After that one smaller power and so on. At the end of the polynomial you have a constant term devoid of any power of x. Okay, here x is 0, x to the power of 0, or you need not to write it, you can just leave it as a constant. Okay, a1, a2, a3 and all are coefficients of different powers of x. Okay, now here for this polynomial, n is any natural number. N is any natural number, and being the highest value of the exponent of variable, n being the highest value of exponent of variable is also called the degree of the polynomial. Okay. Another term that you might encounter in your studies is constant polynomial. So, what is a constant polynomial? For any polynomial, suppose px is equals to 5. So, what type of polynomial it is? It is a constant polynomial. Any polynomial devoid of any variables, any polynomial in which we do not have any variable is called constant polynomial. Okay. Any polynomial without any variable is called a constant polynomial. Or you can say that any polynomial with the degree 0, 0 is called a constant polynomial. What does it mean? If the highest power of x for the given polynomial is 0, then that will be called a constant polynomial. Okay. Based on all this information, we are going to go through the first exercise of the chapter. First exercise of the chapter is, in the first exercise, what sort of questions we are going to encounter. First of all, we will see how to identify whether the given statement is a polynomial or not. First, we will determine that. After that, we will determine how to identify the coefficients of particular powers of x, and also linear polynomial, quadratic polynomial or cubic polynomial, that we define on the basis of the degrees. If the degree of a polynomial is 1, then it is linear polynomial. If the degree of a polynomial is 2, then it is quadratic polynomial. And if the degree of a polynomial is 3, then it will be a cubic polynomial. Fine. So in this manner, we have different types of polynomials. Okay. So first of all, we will determine whether a given statement is a valid polynomial or not. As I have already explained to you in my regular classes, a given statement is a polynomial if and only if its power is a natural number. A given statement is a polynomial if and only if its power is a natural number. Okay. power of the variable is natural number. Keep in mind the power of a variable is a natural number. Okay, so for the first polynomial we have to determine whether it is a polynomial or not, as well as one variable polynomial. Okay, so we have to check whether there are more than one variables, then it is not a one variable polynomial. If the power is not a natural number, if the power of the variable is not a natural number, then obviously it is not a polynomial. Okay, so first, for the first part, x to the power 2, x to the power 1 and a constant, all the powers are natural numbers. 2 is a natural number, 1 is a natural number, 0 that is constant value. So all the given power of x are natural numbers, therefore it is a polynomial. Similarly, for the second part, y square, y is a single variable as well as its power is 2, therefore it is a polynomial with one variable. For the third part, the variable here is only t, the variable part is only t, but one of the t is given in under root. One of the t is given in under root, that means t to the power 1 by 2. Under root t means t to the power 1 by 2. Okay, so that is not a natural number, therefore it is not a valid polynomial. Similarly, for the fourth part, we have 2 upon y. As such, it is a single variable statement. Okay, but one of the terms is 2 upon y. 2 upon y becomes 2 into y to the power minus 1. As I have already told you, if the power is not a natural number, then it is not a valid polynomial. Once again, it is not a valid polynomial. For the fifth part, we have three variables. So, as though it is a polynomial, but it is not a one variable polynomial. Not a one variable polynomial. Okay. So, this is all for the question number one. Let's see question number two. Okay, question number two is write the coefficients of x square. We have to write down the value of the constant that is being multiplied with x square. Okay, so for the first part, we will have x square. It is multiplied with 1. For the second part, this is minus x square. That means it is multiplied by minus 1. For the third part, it is being multiplied by pi by 2. And the fourth part, x square. There is no term of x square. There is no term of x square. That means it is being multiplied by 0. Okay. As is for the fourth part, there is no term of x square. That means it is being multiplied with 0. Okay. Next question number 3. Give one example of a binomial. Binomial means two terms of degree 35. So I will write it as x to the power 35 plus 35. 30 ले लेते हैं. X to the power 35 plus 30. Okay. And the second one is a monomial of degree 100. Monomial means one term, that will be x to the power 100. 100, we have to just take a term in which there is a power of variable is 100. Okay, so we simply take x to the power 100. You can take any of the examples you like, but keep in mind the highest power of the x should be, in the first case it should be 35, in the second case it should be 100, and for the first case there should be only two terms, for the second case there should be only one term. You can take any example that you like. You are not restricted by taking any examples. Okay. Next is find the degree of each of the polynomial. Degree is the highest power of the variable for the given polynomial. So for the first term, the highest power of x out of all the powers of x is 3, therefore its degree is 3. For the second one, the highest power of y, the variable y is 2, therefore degree is 2. For the third term, highest power of variable t, the variable here is t and not one power is mentioned. Power of the t is not mentioned, that means it is 1. Okay. Fourth is a constant polynomial, and we have already discussed the power of constant polynomial. The degree of constant polynomial is 0. Okay. Next is classify the following as linear, quadratic, and cubic. Linear polynomial means degree 1, quadratic polynomial means degree 2, and cubic polynomials mean degree 3. Okay, so for the first is x square plus x. The highest power of x here is 2, that means it is degree 2. That is, it is quadratic polynomial. The second one is x minus x cube. The highest power of the x is here is 3, therefore it is a cubic polynomial. Okay, this is a cubic polynomial. For the third part, you are correct, it is a quadratic polynomial. For the fourth part, it will be linear polynomial. Fifth part, once again linear polynomial. Sixth part, quadratic polynomial. And last part, cubic polynomial. Okay, the number of terms doesn't matter. The highest power of x is what we are taking into account in this case. Okay, the next topic for your chapter was value of the polynomial. So what do you mean by value of the polynomial? Suppose you are given a polynomial, let px is equals to 6x square minus 3x plus 1. Okay, you are given a polynomial px is equals to 6x square minus 3x plus 1, and you have to determine its value at x is equals to 2. You have to determine the value of polynomial px at x is equals to 2. Then what you will do is you will write p2 is equals to, and you will replace all the x with 2. You will replace all the x with 2. In place of x, you will write down 2. So this will be 6 into 2 ka square. 2 square is 4. 6 4s are 24. Minus 6 plus 2. This will be 19. Okay. Not 19. It will be 20. Sorry. It will be 20. Okay. So value of the polynomial at x is equals to 2 is 20. Okay, next is the 0 of the polynomial. 0 of a polynomial is that value of x for which value of the polynomial is 0. It is that value of variable it is that value of variable for which 0 of the polynomial, sorry, for which value of the polynomial, not 0, value of the polynomial, value of the polynomial is 0. Okay, it is that value of variable here can be x or y or anything else, for which value of the polynomial is 0. Okay, let's see some questions regarding this. First of all, we have to determine the value of the polynomial. This question regards to the value of the polynomial. I've just taken two parts and I'm just going to solve one of these. Okay, so I'm just going to solve second part. Second part is you have pt is equals to 2 plus t plus 2t square minus tq. So first of all, let's take, we have to find the value of p0. So in place of t, everywhere we will write down 0. 2 plus 0 plus 2 0 square minus 0 cube. So this will be 2. For the second part, we will take p1. For the second part, we have to find the value of p1. Therefore, p1, for p1, we have 2. In place of t everywhere, we will write down 1 plus 2 into 1 square minus 1 cube. So this will be 2 plus 1, that is 3. 2 into 1 is 2 minus 1. This, the final answer is going to be 4. And lastly, for p2, p2 will be 2 plus, in place of t, we are going to write 2 plus 2 into 2 square minus 2 cube. So this is going to be 2 plus 2 plus 8 minus 8. This will be 4. So these are the values of polynomial at different values of variables. We have put down the different values of variable as instructed in the question, and we have found out 3 different values of the polynomial. Okay. Next, see, verify the zeros. We have to determine whether the given value of x, we have to determine whether the given value of x is the zero of the polynomial px. Okay, so I've taken one of the most difficult questions of the exercise. Okay, and I'm going to solve it for you. So for this question, we have px is equals to 3x square minus 1 Okay, we have to check whether the given values of x, one of the values of x is equals to minus 1 upon root 3, and another value of x is equals to 2 upon root 3. We have to check whether both of these are the zeros of the given polynomial. That means the value of px, for when we put on the values of x, this and this, is going to be 0 or not. We want to check whether the value of polynomial for these two conditions is going to be 0 or not. If the value of polynomial is 0, then that value of x is the 0 of the polynomial. And if the value of polynomial is not 0, then again that is not the 0 of the polynomial. Okay, then let's see. First, at x is equals to minus 1 upon root 3. Let us put in the value of x is equals to minus 1 upon root 3. So this will be p minus 1 upon root 3 should be equal to 3 into minus 1 upon root 3 whole square minus 1. Okay, so on squaring, minus 1 square is 1, under root 3 square is 3, minus 1. This will be 1 minus 1 equals to 0. So value of the polynomial for x is equals to 1 upon 3 is 0. That means, let's make some more room. Since value of, sorry, of polynomial at x equals to minus 1 upon root 3 is 0. So it is a of px. Okay, it is a 0 of px. Fine. Now let's try second part. Second part will be at x is equals to 2 upon root 3. Let us see what happens when the value of x is 2 upon root 3. So in this case, we have to determine the value of p 2 upon root 3. This will be equal to 3 into 2 upon root 3 whole square minus 1. So this will be 3 into 4 upon 3 minus 1. This will be 4 minus 1, that is 3. Okay, so in this case, the value of px, p2 upon root 3, is not equal to 0. In this case, value of px is not equal to 0. That means, that means uh, x is equals to 2 upon root 3 is not a 0 of given polynomial. Okay, so what we have learned here is, when the value of polynomial is 0 for a given value of x, when the value of polynomial is 0 for the given value of x, then that is called the 0 of the polynomial. That value of x is called the 0 of the polynomial. And suppose we have a value of x, suppose for any x we do not get the value of polynomial as 0, then that x is not the 0 of the given polynomial. Okay. Moving on, question number 4. Question number 4 is, find the zeros of the polynomial in each of the following cases. For each of the following cases, we have to determine the zeros of the polynomial. So these types of questions are very easy. For such questions, see, we let k px is equals to 0. So that means for the fourth part, first of all, I will do fourth part. 3x minus 2 equals to 0, and now we will transport each and every term away from x towards the RHS. So this will be 3x is equals to 2 and x is equals to 3 by 2. So your answer is x is equals to 3 by 2. Similarly, for fifth part, again you will let px is equals to 0. Here value of px was x 3x. 3x should be equal to 0. That means x is equals to 0. Okay, so for the first part, the zero of the polynomial is 2 by 3. For the second part, zero of polynomial is 0. Okay, and we can also consider one more thing out of this example, the fifth one, that if there is no constant term in the polynomial, if there is no constant term in the polynomial, then zero of the polynomial is always going to be 0. If there is no constant term in a polynomial, then if there is no constant term in the polynomial, then one of the zeros of the polynomial, then one of the zeros of polynomial is going to be zero. Okay, one of the zeros of the given polynomial is going to be zero. Fine, moving on. Next is your long division. As I've explained earlier, for the long division, we have two terms. One is px, another one is x. And before doing long division, we have to determine two things. First of all, whether the given value of polynomials are in proper order or not, and whether all the powers of x are given. So, as you can see, uh, for the given polynomial px, it is in proper order. We can see it is in a proper order, but all the terms of x are not covered. So that means x square term is not there, as well as x term is not there. So we will rewrite it as x cube plus 0 x square plus 0 x plus 1. Okay, and we need to divide it by gx, that will be x plus 1. Okay, now we have to do the long division. X plus 1, x cube plus 0 x square plus 0 x plus 1. Okay, let's see. First of all, we will compare the first term. What should we multiply in x to get x cube? That is x square. So this is x square plus, sorry, x cube plus x square. We change the sign and we have minus x square plus 0x plus 1. Once again, what should we multiply with x to get minus x square? That is minus x. So this is minus x square minus x. Once again, change of sign and we have x plus 1. Again, what should we multiply with x to get x? That is 1. Your final answer is, and lastly, you change your sign and your final answer is 0. Okay, so remainder for the given example is 0 and quotient for the given example is x square minus x plus 1. Fine. Okay, next is factorization of quadratic polynomial by splitting the middle term. Okay, factorization of quadratic polynomial by splitting the middle term. Okay, I have taken two examples of it. Okay, let's see. First one is 12x square minus 7x plus 1. Like I have already reminded you, let's say, like I have already reminded you in my main lecture, this is only revision. That for first of all, what we do is we factorize the multiplication of coefficients of x square and constant. Okay, we will first of all multiply 12 and 1. First of all, we will multiply 12 and 1. So the answer will be 12 and we will factorize it. We will find the various factors of 12 and 1. So factors of 12 and 1 are going to be, first of all, 1 into 12. Secondly, 2 into 6. Next is 3 into 4. And okay, I guess this is all the factors of the 2. All the possible 2 terms values that can be formed, that can be multiplied, all the possible combination of two numbers that can be multiplied to form 12. Okay, so out of these combination, we have to determine the sum, Why sum? Because the sign of constant is positive. We have to determine the sum for which the sum is 7. We have to determine the pair for which the sum is 7. So as we can see, it is 3 and 4. So this will be 12x square minus 4x minus 3x plus 1. And finally, you have taking common out of the pairs. You have 4x, taking 4x is common, you will have 3x minus 1, and taking minus 1 as common, you will have again 3x minus 1. It is a criteria to check out whether you are doing it right is you have the if you have the same brackets, then you are doing it correctly. If not, then it is incorrect. So what was outside the bracket you take in one bracket, what was inside the bracket you take in another bracket. So this is final factorized form of 12x square minus 7x plus 1. Okay, now let's see his third part. Third part is 6x square plus 5x minus 6. Okay, so once again, let's see. 6 into 6 is 36. We have to determine various factors of 36. First one will be 1 into 36. Another one will be 2 into 18. 18 to is also 36. Another one will be 4 into 9. 9 fours again is 36. Then 3 into 12 is 36. Then what more? 6 into 6 will be 36. Okay, all the all the possible combinations are covered here. Okay, now how we are going to do is we will see the negative sign of constant is negative, so we want to find a pair of numbers whose subtraction is 5. So pair of number will be 4 and 9. So this will be 6x square. First of all, the larger number, that will be plus 9x, then the smaller number, that will be minus 4x minus 6. Okay, taking as much common as possible, this will be 3x, 2x plus 3 minus 2, taking as much common as possible, minus 2, 2x plus 3. Finally, you have 3x minus 2 and 2x plus 3. Fine. So this is the solution of your third part. Next is factorization of cubic polynomial. So factorization of cubic polynomial. For the first part, you can do it quite directly. Make the pairing and take the common out of first two and last two. Out of first two, you take x square as common, you will get x minus 2. Of the last two, you take y minus as common and you will get x minus 2 once again. So this will be x square minus 1 and x minus 2. On further factorizing it, this will be x minus 1, x plus 1, x minus 2. Fine. So this is quite easy. First one was factorization of first one was quite easy. You were just required to make the proper pairs. Okay. But the second part is not so quite easy. The third part actually. The third part is not so easy. For the third part, first of all, let me write down the polynomial. Px is equals to x cube plus 13x square plus 32x plus 20. Okay. For this part, first of all, we have to determine the value of x for which the px can be equal to 0. First of all, we will determine the value of x for which px is actually going to be 0. So I will try for x is equals to minus 1. So p minus 1 will be minus 1 cube plus 30 minus 1 square plus 32 minus 1 plus 20. So this will be minus 1 plus 30 minus 32 plus 20, and finally you will have 33 minus 33, that is going to be 0. So for the value of x is equals to minus 1, the value of polynomial px is 0. That means x plus 1 is a factor of px. Okay, now what we need to do is we need to do the long division. We need to divide by x plus 1 the polynomial that we had, that was x cube plus 13x square plus 32x plus 22. X cube plus 13x square plus 32x plus, sorry, 32x plus 20. Okay, I already know the remainder for this case. Remainder is going to be 0. What I'm interested in is the quotient part. Okay, so first of all, x square, x cube plus x square. You change the sign and you will get 12x square plus 32x plus 20. Okay, after this, plus 12x, 12x square plus 12x, change the sign, you will get 20x plus 20, and finally 20. So this will be 20x plus 20, and change the sign, you will get remainder is 0. As I've told you earlier, the remainder was going to be 0. We were quite clear about it. But what we were interested in was the value of x, this quotient. So not now what we are going to do is we are going to take this quotient to the next page and we are going to factorize it. Okay, so this is the value of quotient. Sorry, this is the value of quotient, and let me write down its name. Let us name it qx. Okay, so this is the value of quotient and we have to factorize it. So I'm going to do it quite directly. This will be x square plus 10x plus 2x plus 20. Why 10 into 10 into 2 is 20 and 10 plus 2 is 2. Okay, so this will be x taken as common, x plus 10 plus 2 taken as common, x plus 10. Once again, terms outside the bracket together and terms inside the bracket together. So finally, you can say that the factorization of px can be written as x plus 1 that was determined earlier, x plus 2 and x plus 10. The given polycubic polynomial can be factorized at x as x plus 1 into x plus 2 into x plus 10. Okay. After this factorization, this was the cubic polynomial that we factorized. After this factorization, in this chapter, we have lots of algebraic identity. Keep in mind that the eighth identity is no longer in your syllabus. The eighth identity is no longer in your syllabus, but I will, in any case, I will inform you that if you have three numbers such that, uh, let's take any example, minus 1 cube plus 2 cube minus 1 cube. Okay, you have to find out the answer of this number. You have to find out the answer of this expression. So what you can do is, you first of all you add the numbers inside the bracket. First of all, you add the numbers inside the bracket. So minus 1 plus 2 minus 1 will be 0. If sum of all these numbers inside the bracket is 0, then the sum of their cubes will be 3 into minus 1, 2 and minus 1. Okay, so this will be plus 6. Okay, so keep in mind this property that is inspired out of the eighth identity. Okay, apart from this, these are the identities that are in your course, and based on these identities you have the last exercise. So we are going to discuss a few questions of the last exercise. Let's see. First of all, using table identity, you have to find the following products. Okay, so first of all, you have x plus 4 into x plus 10. So identity used here is, x plus a into x plus b, that is equals to x square plus a plus b into x plus ab. Okay, so x is as it is, a is 4 and b is here is 10. So you will expand it as x square plus 4 plus 10 into x plus 4 into 10. So finally, it is going to be x square plus 14x plus 14. That is your answer. In the same manner, you have question 103 into 107. Okay, you have a question 103 into 107. Let's see. Okay, we will rewrite 103 as 105 minus 2, and 105 as 107 as 105 plus 2. 105 is going to be quite complicated. Let's rewrite again. It is 103 is 100 plus 3, and 107 as 100 plus 7. Okay, once again we are going to use the same identity using using x plus a into x plus b. Here x is replaced by 100 and a is replaced by 3 and b is replaced by 7. This is x square plus a plus b into x plus ab. Okay, you can also try to multiply it directly, but that is going to be a bit complicated. This method is quite easier. This will be 100 square plus 3 plus 7 into 100 plus 3 into 7. Okay, 100 square is 1, 4 zeros, that is 10,000, plus 3 plus 7 is 10, 10 into 100 is 1000, plus 3 sevens are 21. Then your final answer is going to be, your final answer is going to be 1, 2, 0, 1, 1. Okay, this is your final answer. In such questions, keep in mind that you add the numbers properly. Most of the mistakes that you do is you do not add the number properly or do not put on the proper powers. Okay, next is the factorization using suitable identities. Okay, so for the first question, we are going to use the identity a plus b plus c whole square is equals to a square plus b square plus c square plus 2ab plus 2bc plus 2ca. Okay, so in place of a we have x, in place of b we have 2y, in place of c we have 4z. So using this identity, we will expand it as first term square plus second term square plus third term square plus 2 into first term into second term plus 2 into second term into third term plus 2 into third term into first term. So this will be x square plus 4y square plus 16z square plus 4xy plus 16yz plus 8zx. So this is the final answer. As we have solved for the identity of whole square, we can also solve for the identity of whole cube. So identity used here is x minus y whole cube is equals to x cube minus 3x square y plus 3x y square minus 3, sorry, not 3, minus y cube. Okay, using this identity, we are going to solve this. This will be in place of x, you have 2a, in place of y, you have 3b. So replacing the numbers, you will have 2a whole cube minus 3 into 2a, y is 3b, plus 3 into 2a, y is 3b whole square minus 3b whole cube. Okay, cube of 2 is 8, 8a cube minus this was square. Uh, 2a square is 4a square. So this will be 9b into 4a square plus 6a into 9b square minus 27b cube. Okay, so final answer is going to be 8a cube minus 36a square b plus 54a b square minus 27b cube. Okay, this is the final expansion of the 2a minus 3b whole cube. Okay, next is factorization of. So in the earlier questions, in the form of expansion, we converted whole square into factorized form. We converted whole square into expanded form. And from now onwards, we will convert the expanded form into factorized form. Okay, we will convert the expanded form into factorized form. Again, we are going to use the same formula. Same formula is using a square plus b square plus c square plus 2ab plus 2bc plus 2ca is equals to a plus b plus c whole square. Okay, so now we are going to do is factorization. So in place of, first of all, we will convert this form, first three terms, in the form of a square, b square and c square. So 4x square will become 2x whole square, 9y square will become 3y whole square, 16z square will become 4z whole square. Okay, and after that we are going to check the sign of negative in the next three terms. For the negative, we have last second term is negative and last term is negative. What is common variable in both the term is z, so we'll put on the minus sign before 4z, and 2 into first term, that is 2x, and second term 3y, plus 2 into second term, that is 3y, and last term minus 4z, plus 2 into last term, that is minus 4z, and first term, that was 2x. And using that identity, we will rewrite it as 2x plus 3y minus 4z whole square. Fine. In the same manner, you can also do it with cubic polynomials. So with cubic polynomial, you have 8a cube plus b cube. So we have two terms of whole cube and other terms. So we are going to using a cube plus b cube plus 3a square b plus 3ab square is equals to a plus b whole cube. So in place of a we have 8a cube, in place of b we have b cube, and so on. So first of all, we are going to rewrite them in the form of whole cubes. This will be 2a cube plus b cube plus 3 into first term, that was 2a square into b, and for second term we have b, 3 into a is first term, that is 2a, and b is second term, that is b square. Okay, so this will be 2a plus b whole cube. Fine. Now let's see, like I have already told you, if you have three numbers whose sum, when you do their sum, the answer is 0, then the sum of their cubes is going to be equal to 3 into product of all three numbers. 3 into product of all three numbers. So this is 12 fives are is 60, minus 60 into 21. This is 1260 negative. Okay. You do not need to find the individual cubes of each number. You can just do this. 3 into product of all three numbers. Okay, after this, finally we are going to see the one of the examples. Example is, you have to determine the value of cube of 104 and cube of 999. Okay, so if you multiply 104 with 104 with again 104, sorry, 104, it is going to be quite tedious for you. Okay, so what you do is you apply the identity. How do you do that? You divide 104 into 104. 104 is 100 cube plus 4 cube. Okay, you apply the formula of a plus b whole cube and you will get the final result. Similarly, for 999, you divide it, you change the shape of 999 as 1000 minus 1. 999 is nothing but 1000 minus 1. And once again, using the same identity, a minus b whole cube, you determine the value of 999 cube. Okay. So I hope you understand the lecture now. Now I am providing you with some assignment that is going to be helpful for your course. Okay. So please go through it and have a nice day.